All right, good evening. You're welcome to Mathematics for Grade 12. And today we are going straight into business. The exam is next week, Monday, and our preparation is going to be tested. So we'll start off by looking at, our focus will be on those WAEC years in which WAEC has changed the tempo or the arrangement. By that I mean 2019, 2018, 2017. We'll start with 2019 today. We'll go question by question, and we'll exhaust what we can exhaust within the time allowed to us. And then, like I've told us, it's going to flow from today till Thursday. I'm going to be doing all of this. I'm trusting that by Thursday I should be through with all of these years' questions. So I'll pick my own question paper and I'll start. Like I've highlighted, I have not prepared for these questions. I did that intentionally so that I can fill your pause with you in the examination hall. I have not looked at these questions in a long time. So I'm solving them for the first time. So it's possible that as I'm even solving, I can make some errors. So it's left for you now to try to detect where these errors are, and then we'll correct them. Another important thing I must tell you as you go into this examination, there are two schools of thought when it comes to writing theory exams. There are those that go with the mindset that I want to solve all the questions. Well, it's a school of thought I can't argue with that. There's a school of thought that believes in going in and answer the questions I know very well from the areas I prepared for, and I nail it. I belong to that school of thought. I don't believe in going to an examination being wishing to answer all the questions. It's not my take. The highest grade you can get in WAEC is A1, and you do not need to answer all the questions to get an A1. You need to answer enough to get an A1. So if your target is an A1, all you need to do is to solve enough questions in the examination hall to get the A1. Your business is not to try to know all the topics. That's one. Two, you must realize too that in WAEC exam, WAEC will focus on, there are specific areas that must come out. And as we go through these 3 years, by the end of the 3rd year, that's by the time I'm done with 2017, I will be able to almost accurately tell you what your exam questions will look like. All right, let's start. All right, 2019 question number 1A. It says, given that 110x is equal to 40 base 5. Now, your first task here is to convert this to base 10. How do you do that? Now, watch what I'm going to do. Remember that in this exam scenario, you're not expected to write too much. So please, try to be as precise as possible when you're solving. Try to be as precise as possible. So to base 10, this will be 0, 1, 2. This will be 0 and 1. Are you seeing that? So this will be 1 times x raised to the power of 2 plus 1 times x raised to the power of 1 plus. Now this is 0. Anything multiplied 0 is 0. So you don't need to waste our examination space. Go to the next one. This will be 4 times 5 raised to the power of 1 plus 4 times what? 0. That's what multiplied by 0 will also give you 0. So you don't need to waste our time there. So from here, this will be x squared plus x equal to 20, which means that x squared plus x minus 20 will equal to 0. When we pick factors out of this, you're going to have that x plus what? 5x minus 4x minus 20 is equal to 0. I usually would not do this, but just to help you see what's happening there. Why is that? The sum of the factors here will be minus 20, and it will require that I have two numbers, a positive and a negative. But the negative has to be smaller because the positive here is you have a positive value here. So with that understanding, my choice was this. And that will be x into x plus 5 minus 4 into x plus 5 equal to 0. And x minus 4 will now go into x plus 5 equal to 0. So x will be equal to 4 or minus 5. Take note, base can never be negative. Now this is what the examiner will be waiting for you. Base can never be negative. So as such, the answer x will be equal to what? 4. Why? Base cannot be what? Negative. So with that, we have solved number 1A. So from my analysis of this question, this should be about 4 marks. 3 or 4 marks should be the marks allowed for this question. Now the next one says B, Remember to send chats in case you have any issues, and I'll look at those chats as I'm working. And please ensure that your screen is clear. Make sure it is clear. Make sure that you're seeing what we are writing on the board. It's so important to me that you're seeing what we're writing on the board so that when you go back to revise, you know what you're doing. Right, question 1B. Now in 1B, we have that 15 over root 75 plus 108 plus what? The square root of what? 432. Now, if you look at this, this is essentially testing your concept of what? Perfect squares. Now, look at what I'm going to do. This is what? 15 over the square root of what? 25 times 3. 75 is 25 times 3. Plus, look at this. This is going to be the square root of what? The closest perfect square I can get here is 36 times 3. I see what I'm doing? Plus the square root of, this is 432. Now, if you look at this very well, the closest square I can get here is, let's look at that. You can test that. 432. I can have divided by 4, so I'm having 108. 108 is 36 times 2. 36 times 2. Remember 4 times 4. So I should have like 144. So 432 divided by 144. That should give me 3. I see what I'm doing. These are things that are happening at a mental level. So your calculator, for those of us that are very calculator driven, you should be doing that in your head. So this will be what? Plus 144 times 3. All right. So with that said, I will have here 15 over what? 5 root 3 plus, this will give me 6 root 3 plus, this will give me 12 root 3. Are you seeing that? Now I'll rationalize this. This will be 1, this will be 1, this will be 3 rather. And when I rationalize this one, I'm going to get what? 3 root 3 over what? 3. I multiply top and bottom by root 3, and this will be what? Plus what? 18 root 3, and that will give me what? Root 3 plus 18 root 3. And my final answer becomes 19 root 3. Right? So remember that I'm solving this question as you are solving it, and I think you have your marking scheme there as you're looking at it. But my objective essentially is to ensure that you are able to know what to do. So I'm pushing you at a mental level now to search the knowledge you have gathered and see how it helps you in solving. So that's for question 1B. So go to question 2. In question 2A, it says, find the equation of a line which passes through the points A and B. Now, when they ask you to find the equation of a line passing through 2 points, essentially, there are 2 things you need to look for. You need to look for the gradients and equate the gradients to any of the, you get the gradient and equate it to any of the points and you get your answer. So how does that work? So we know that point A is minus 2 and 7. We know that point B is what? 2 and what? Minus 3. So what is the gradient? The gradient, sometimes denoted as M, is equal to a change in Y over a change in X. So what is the change in Y? Now, take note of this. What is important in calculating gradient is consistency. If I take from this, I must say this minus this. If I take from this, I'll say this minus this. So whichever direction you go, the answer will still be the same. The gradient will still be the same. What's important is that you maintain order. So with that, we come here. I want to take from here to here. So that will be minus 3 minus 7 over what? 2 minus 2. Remember that the identity of this is minus 2. So that will give me negative 10 divided by 4. That essentially will give me what? Negative 5 over 2. Now, I will equate this to any of the points. So I have that M is equal to negative 5 over 2. I can take at the point, according to what they have here, I can now take at the point 2 and what? Negative 3. That's the point I will take at. So what does that mean? It means that negative 5 over 2 will be equal to a change. Y minus what? Minus 3 over a change in the X direction, which will be what? X minus 2. And what does that give you? That will give you negative 5 over 2 into what? Y plus 3 over what? Y minus 2. Do the relevant multiplication. Did I say Y? This is X. Sorry about that. But these are some of the kind of mistakes you can experience in the hall when you're trying to solve fast. So as you solve, you must pay attention to where you could likely make mistakes. All right, so that will be negative 5 into X minus 2 equal to 2 into what? Y plus 3. Multiply out. That will give you negative 5x plus 10 equal to 2y plus what? 6. We rewrite. That will be 2y plus 6 equal to negative 5x plus 10. So we can take our problem to this side of the board. Remember that this, according to the WAEC setup, you are expected to earn 1 mark every, you're supposed to earn 1 mark every 1 minute 30 seconds. So that's why for a question, each of those questions you in section A, which is 88 marks, you cannot spend more than you have about roughly 12 minutes to handle them. So I really train my students to work around 88 minutes. 8 to 10 minutes, you should have finished the questions, so that those ones that are really demanding, you have enough time to handle those ones. Okay, so that's that for 2A. Now for 2B, okay, we're not done yet. So that will mean that 2y will be equal to what? Minus 5x plus what? 10 minus 6. That will be 2y equal to minus 5x plus what? 4. Now, you can also finish this problem by saying 2y plus 5x minus 4 equal to 0. This is also an acceptable form for the equation. So that's for exercise 2, question 2A. Now, what about 2B? Now, I forgot to talk about the question flow. This should be about 4 marks. This should be about 4 marks too. So this 2B should also be about what? 4 marks. So let's see, how do we handle that? In question 2B, we are told that 5B minus A over 8B plus 3A is equal to 1 over 5. This one is very simple. Okay, did I finish this problem? Okay, sorry, this 1B, I didn't finish 1B. Okay, it's all right, it's all right. Say in the form that, okay, so we can say we are done with that. So now 5 into 5B minus A will be equal to what? 8B plus 3A. So what does that give you? 25B minus 5A is equal to what? 8B plus what? 3A. And what I asked to do, we are told to find the ratio of A over B. So this will now be what? 25B minus 8B equal to 3A plus what? 5A. Are we together? So this will now be 17B equal to 8A, and 8A will be equal to 17B, meaning that A over B will essentially be what? 17 over 8. Now you can punch your calculator and get other variants of the answer as it may apply to the examiner. But for me, my job is done, and I believe that the remaining part of the question you should be able to address. All right, and that's for question 2B. Now let's go to question 3. Now question 3 says that Ali, Musha, and Yusuf shared 420,000 in the ratio 3:5:8. Find the sum of Ali and Yusuf's share. That's another very simple question to solve. Now look at the ratio. Now I'll just start by saying Ali is to Musa is to Yusuf. I just use the first letter of their names to represent that. It's equal to what? 3:5:8. The next thing I'll take care of is what? Sum of ratio. Sum of ratio will be equal to 3 plus 5 plus 8. I see that plus 8, sorry. And that will be equal to what? 20. And that will be equal to 16. Is that not? Now, they say find the sum of Ali and what? Yusuf's share. Now, you see what method this examiner has done? He has solved them differently. But for me, as a faster thinker, this is what I will do. I know the ratio of Ali's own. Ali shares what? A. Usual shares what? 8. I seen it. So sum of ratio of Ali and who? Yusuf is equal to 3 plus what? 8, and that will be 11. Is that not? That will be 11. So I know it is 11, so that will be what? So it means 11 over 16 times what? 4,200 over 1. Now this is a faster way to solve this. Some people will now go and you don't need all those ones. So 4 go here. In fact, I can even take the risk of saying 11 times. I can take the risk of taking 4 can divide this. Now take note that when 8 go into this, I'm going to get what? 125. I see this 125. So if I'm not using a calculator, you can put your calculator at this point. Just that me, I'm not a calculator person. So I'll say this 11 over 16 times 42 times 10,000. And when I run 16 into 10,000, I should be having into 1,000. I should have into 1,000. I should have it should be like 8 times 125. I put another one into 10,000. I'm going to have something like 625 times 42 times 16. So I believe you should be able to finish this. So let me think of a route that may be easy for me. I go here, I'll get what? 8. I go here, I'll get 21. So that will give me 231 times 8 into this. 8 into 1,000 will give me 125. So I'll get 1250. I hope I'm right about that. So when I multiply these two, I should be getting the answer in this book, which is about what? 288,750. I will finish this up. I believe those of us who are having calculators should be able to punch and finish it up. Your book, the method used in your book is very, very correct. But understand that in an examination setting like this, you must think. So this is now what? Sum of Ali and Yusuf share will be this, because I already know that the ratio will be what? 11 over 16, and that should give me my answer. All right, that's 3A. Now 3B. Let's look at 3B. How do we handle 3B? In question 3B, we have that 2 into 1 over 8 all raised to the power of x is equal to what? 32 raised to the power of what? X minus 1. So what do we do at this point? Now remember that this means 2 times 8 raised to the power of minus x equal to what? 32 raised to the power of x minus 1. I don't want to disturb that yet. I will not disturb that yet. So from here, I'm going to have that 2 raised to the power of 1, because anything raised to the power of 1, 2 raised to the power of 1 will give me 2, times 2 raised to the power of 3 times minus x equal to what? 2 raised to the power of 5. 32 is 2 raised to the power of 5 into x minus 1. So this will now give me 2 raised to the power of 1 minus 3x equal to 2 raised to the power of 5x minus 5. The bases are the same, so I will put their index. Whenever the bases are the same, their indices must be the same. So what does that give me? 1 minus 3x is equal to 5x minus 5. And what does that mean? I'm going to rewrite. And that will be 1 minus 3x. So what does that mean? 5x plus what? 3x is equal to 1 plus 5. 6x, sorry, 8x. And that's the kind of mistake you can make because you're trying to solve fast. So as you solve fast, you must have something that check your answer, whether what you have done is right. And that will be equal to what? 6. Divide both sides by 8, and x will be equal to 3 over 4. So solve that. That is what? 3 over 4. All right, that's for question 3B. So you see that so far, at the rate I'm going, I've solved for like about 30 minutes. And just to for about 30 minutes, and in 30 minutes, I've already cleared 3 questions, although I'll be faster than this by solving alone. But that means that I'm already averaging 10 minutes per question, which is good. It's good. It's wonderful to average 3 minutes, 10 minutes per question for this part. It's a good work. So we're making good progress. All right. So I'll just give us about 5 minutes. I like to take those pauses when I'm solving questions. I'll just give you about, let's give us like 2-3 minutes. Let's cool down. Those of us who are writing will write. Those of us who are checking our work, and just check our work quickly, and then we'll continue. All right, we're back. We're going to continue with question 4. When we get to some questions, I will draw emphasis on some things that you need to see as you solve. Now, in question 4, we're giving a diagram. What does the diagram look like? See it. Okay, this is a right angle triangle. And I think this particular question is from your textbook. PQR is what? 90 degrees. PROQ, this is also 90 degrees. This is 3, this is 4, this is 13. Right. You are told to find the area of the quadrilateral. Now, what they mean is the area of this figure. That's what they mean. So how do you solve this? I'll tell you what I will do using notations as in diagram. So I will now call here A, I'll call here B. These are the 2 letters I need to help me finish this work. So A squared, then I will now tell my examiner by Pythagoras. By Pythagoras. It will now be what? 3 A squared will be equal to 3 squared plus 4 squared. Meaning that this will be what? A squared equal to 9 plus what? 16. So A will be equal to the square root of what? 25. And A will be equal to 5. So I've gotten 5. Now, also, B squared plus A squared is equal to what? 13 squared. B squared plus A squared is equal to 13 squared. What is A squared? A squared is 5. So B squared plus 5 squared is equal to 13 squared. So B squared will be equal to 13 squared minus 5 squared. Now, some people will punch their calculator to solve, but I have a better way to handle this. This will be 13 minus 5 into 13 plus 5. And that will be what? 8 times what? 18. Which will be what? 4 times 36. So B will be the square root of 4 times 36, which will be 2 times 6. That is 12. So I'm not saying it's wrong for you not to punch your calculator, but you see, my mindset of not wanting to use a calculator has forced my brain to come up with solutions out of it. But the simplest thing to do is just to use your calculator. Nobody's testing this one. But just use your calculator at this point and you're good to go. So with that, area of quad. Now the short form of quadrilateral is quad will now be equal to what? Area of triangle PQR plus area of triangle what? PRS. I seen that. So this will now be equal to what? The area of PQR will be what? Half times 4 times 3. And the area of PRS will be what? Half of A and B. You know why I've done that? Just to tell my examiner that this answer did not just drop from somewhere. All right, so with that said, this will become what? 12 plus what? Half of what? What is A? A is 5. What is B? B is 6. B is 12 rather. 1, 6. So this will now be giving me 12 plus what? 12 plus 30. And as such, my area will become what? 42 centimeters squared. So the answer is what? 42 centimeters squared. Did I miss something here? Oh, see the mistake I made here. I hope you have noticed it. I forgot to cancel here. These are likely the kind of errors you can make in an exam setting. But the beautiful thing about it is that you would have gotten your marks in method. What at worst, what you may lose here may be 1 or 2 marks. One, sometimes just 1 mark. So 1 mark from 100 cannot stop you from getting your E. Right, so that will give me what? 36 centimeters squared. All right, so with that, we are done with question 4. So we'll go to question 5. Question 5 says 3 balls. There are 3 balls, 5 green balls, or rather, there are red balls, 5 green balls, and a number of blue balls are put together in a sack. 1 ball is picked at random from the sack. If the probability of picking a red ball is 1/6, find the number of blue balls in the sack. So the first thing you need to do is to say, let the number of what? Of blue balls. Okay, there are X red balls. Okay, let the number of blue balls be what? X. That's the first thing you need to do. Let the number of blue balls be X. All right. Now, the total number of balls will be what? Now, look at the question. I think the error there is that there are 5 red balls. So please correct that. I think there are 5 red balls. So please take note of that. I think there's a typographical error there. So there are, 3 red balls. So total number of balls will be what? Let me just put a dot there. I'll come to that later. So number of red balls is equal to 3. Number of green balls will be equal to 5. So total number of balls, total number of balls will be equal to what? 3 plus 5 plus x. And that will give me 8 plus x. So that's how they got 8 plus x. Take notes. That's how they got 8 plus x. Now, you are told that the number of red balls is what? The probability of getting a red ball. So probability red ball is equal to 1/6, which will be equal to the number of red balls available, 3 over what? 8 plus x. Are you seeing it? So you see that they are merging algebraic fraction with what? Probability here. And that's the trend in modern exams today. So this will now be what? 8 plus x equal to what? 6 times 3. And that will be 8 plus x equal to what? 18. X will be equal to 18 minus 8, and that is 10. All right? And that is what? 10. So the next question will require that we should find, it says find the probability of picking a green ball. So probability green ball. What would that be? It will be what? How many green balls do you have? 5 over the total number of balls. That's 8 plus 10. Is that not? That will be 5 over 18. So the probability of picking a green ball is going to be what? 5 over what? 13. All right, so that's for question 4, question 5. So now we go to question 6. Now we come to the heavy duty questions. I call them heavy duty because they are for 12 marks, and each question you are expected to spend roughly 18 minutes. Each of those questions is 18 minutes, so 18 times 5 is pick any 5 questions, 90 minutes, which is 1.5 hours, and the other one is 12 minutes times 5, which is what? 60 minutes. So that's why the exam is 2.5 So you need to take note of this. And we have done 5 questions. So let's see, by our sketch, we have spent 44 minutes. All the time I'm moving around, checking things, coming back and whatever. You see that I've just spent 44 minutes. Divided by 5, that puts me at an average of 9 minutes per question, which is good. And I've told us that I'm faster than this. I'm faster than this. I'm way, way faster than this thing I'm having on the board. But just to help you understand that it's possible. It's possible for those of us who are in the school of thought that you want to finish exam. It's possible and finish very well too. It's possible. So we are done with 5 questions now. We're now going to the second part that is of what? More intensity. All right. So are we ready? If you're ready, I'm ready for you. So let me clean up everything. Right, so question 6a. The force of attraction F between 2 bodies varies directly as a product of their masses. I hope you know that this is actually a theorem. The law of gravitation. That's in physics, if I'm right. The force of attraction between 2 bodies vary directly as a product of its masses, and inversely as the distance, as the square of the distance d between them. The question you need to answer here is, what kind of variation is treated here? It is actually joints. Hello? So here comes another aspect you must take note of when you solve questions. The reason why you practice is to be able to recognize in the whole where the question is going to. If you know where the question is going to, it becomes easy for you to answer it. You get it? I have not read long. I already know where the question is going to, so it becomes very easy for me to solve. It's going to joint variation. Now, so from there, F is directly proportional to M1, M2 over what? R squared. Or in this case, D squared. Right, so remember that we introduced a constant of proportionality. So F will now be equal to K, M1, M1, M2 over D squared, where K is the constant of proportionality. I don't think they bother so much about this anymore. I know back in the days it was very important for you to write it, but I don't think they will bother so much about it. Right, so with that said, the next thing now is, given that F is equal to 20, M is equal to 20, M1 is equal to 25, M2 is equal to 10, and D is equal to 5M, find an expression for F in the terms of M1, M2, and D. Now, this is where at times students get me a little baffled. The first thing you need to do at this point is to make K the subject of the formula. But what I discovered is that most students will go ahead to make substitution. No, it's not right. It's not right. Even if the examiner they mark it for you, it's not the right thing. We must make K the subject of the formula before we substitute. So K will be equal to FD squared over what? M1, M2. What does that give you? F is what? F is 20 times what is D? D is what? 5, so that is 5 squared over M. M1 is 25 and M2 is what? 10. So what do you have? I'm going to write everything out here, space them out. 20 times 5 squared over times 5 over 25 times 10. Now please, at this point, take note that in an exam setting, you can just punch your calculator here and get your answers and move on. Nobody is interested in all those whatever. That's why it's a mini German. It's mini German. So just make your calculations or you punch your calculator. Me, I'm not a calculator person, so that will be equal to 2. So I will now make the substitution here. That means that f is equal to 2m1 m2 over what? D squared. So that's it. That's the question you're going to have. Right. Now, find an expression for that. Good. And then Roman figure 2 says, find D. Find what? D. So what is D? Here again, I have to make D the subject of a formula. So FD squared will be equal to 2m1 m2, which means that D squared is equal to 2m1 m2 over what? F. So what is D? D will be the square root of what? 2m1 m2 over F. Now this is the right thing to do. Make your substitutions first before you now begin to solve. So D will be equal to, according to the question, F2 times M1 is 7.5. M2 is what? 4. I should bring this down a little so I have space. 2 times 7.5 times 4 divided by what? 30 square root. Remember that this times this is 30. This times this is what? This times this is 30. 7.5 times this is 30. So I'll cancel this. So my answer now is D equal to the square root of 2. What is the square root of 2? 1.414. I know that very well. So that takes care of question 6A. So what about 6B? And 6B, we're given a diagram. Very interesting diagram. Obviously, this is a pentagon. So you should have an idea of where this question is going to. Now, they say this one, this angle here is x plus 20. You are told that this angle here is x. This angle here is x plus 60. You have it in your book. This angle here is x plus 40. And this angle here is x plus 80. Now you are told to find, x. I think that's what you are told to look for, to find x. How do you look for x? Quite simple. Now, sum of interior angles of any polygon is given as 2n minus 4, 90 equal to, given as this, fine. So n, where n is equal to the number of sides. For a pentagon, comma, n is equal to 5. All right, just building some basic arguments to solve the problem. So 5. So all right, 1 minute, please. Now, so this will now give us 2 into 5 minus 4 times 90, which will give me 10 minus 4 times 90. 6 times 90 is equal to 540. So it means when I add up all these angles, I'm going to get 540. So that will be x plus 20 plus x plus 60 plus x plus 40 plus x plus 80 equal to 540. Are you seeing that? So add up everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5x plus 100, 200 is equal to 540. 5x will now be equal to 540 minus 200. So 5x will be equal to 340. divide both sides by 5, and x will be equal to 68 degrees. So you see how the 68 degrees came about. So that's for question 6. It's possible for you to be able to, you see it, sometimes passing an exam is more of a mind thing, a confidence thing, than a knowledge thing. Once you have done your preparation, you need the right mindset to be able to bring out what you have already studied. All right, so that's for question 6. I think we can get to question 7. Let's do question 7. You are told to draw a cumulative frequency graph in 7B. So let's do 7. Let's do question 7. Question 7.